Have you ever felt like your prayers are hitting a ceiling? You've been waiting for a breakthrough, a healing, or a change, and the silence from heaven feels heavy. We live in a world that demands instant results, but faith operates on a different clock. Waiting isn't just a gap between where you are and where you want to be. It's a vital season of spiritual formation. In this first chapter, we explore why that frustration is natural, but also why it's the very soil where trust begins to grow. When God seems slow, He isn't being indifferent. He is being intentional. We want the destination, but He is focused on the person you become while you're getting there. The frustration you feel is the pressure that refines your soul. So, let's lean into the silence and discover what God is actually doing while you're standing still. Silence can feel like abandonment. When you're in the middle of a difficult season and you don't hear a clear direction, it's easy to believe that God has moved on. But the Bible reminds us that some of the greatest movements of God started in total silence. Think of the 400 years of silence between the Old and New Testaments. God wasn't gone. He was setting the stage for the Messiah. Your personal silence is often the quiet before the breakthrough. It's a time to listen more closely, to strip away the noise of the world, and to find that still, small voice. In this space, your faith isn't just tested, it's anchored. If you can trust Him in the silence, you can follow Him in the storm. This chapter is for anyone who feels forgotten in the quiet. You are not alone. You are in the hall of preparation. Chapter 2. The silence of preparation. Why does God wait? Often, it's because we aren't ready for what we're asking for. If God gave you the blessing today, would you have the character to sustain it? Preparation is painful because it requires us to change. It's the Eli 5 analogy of the tower of blocks. If you try to build a massive tower on a single block, it will fall. God is spending this time widening your base. He's teaching you patience, humility, and reliance. Joseph was in a prison for years, not because God forgot him, but because he needed to be a man of character before he could be the second most powerful person in Egypt. The prison was his palace training ground. Your current waiting room is actually your training room. Every day you wait is a day God is strengthening the foundation of your life. Don't rush the process, or you'll miss the strength you need for the promise. Think of the seed buried in the earth. From the outside, nothing is happening. It looks like a grave. But inside, life is exploding. The seed must first break, then grow roots deep enough to support the tree it will become. If it sprouted immediately, the first wind would destroy it. The darkness of the soil isn't a burial, it's a planting. You might feel buried by your circumstances right now, but you are actually being planted. The darkness is where the nutrition is. The darkness is where the privacy is. God is working in the parts of your life that no one else sees, building a root system that will withstand the storms of the future. The longer the roots, the taller the tree. Trust the soil. Trust the darkness. Growth is happening even when you can't see the light yet. Chapter 3. The protection of delay. Sometimes a delay isn't a hurdle, it's a shield. We see the road ahead for a mile, but God sees the entire journey. He sees the accidents He's keeping you from, the wrong relationships He's blocking, and the doors He's keeping shut because they lead to nowhere. We get frustrated when a door won't open, but we should be thankful for the doors God has locked. His timing is perfect because His perspective is perfect. He knows that if you got that job now, or that relationship now, it would cost you more than you're willing to pay. Delay is often a mercy we don't understand until years later. When you look back on your life, you'll see the no's and the not yets were actually I love yous from a Father who knows best. Trust the closed door just as much as you trust the open one. The storm doesn't last forever. The clouds will eventually part. But the person you are after the storm is what matters to God. If He took away every struggle instantly, you would never learn to walk on water. Faith isn't the absence of the storm. It's the presence of peace in the middle of it. God uses these seasons to show you His power. He wants you to know that He is your anchor, not your circumstances. When the waves are high and the wind is loud, His voice is the only thing that can calm the sea. This delay is giving you a testimony that will one day encourage someone else who is drowning. Your struggle is becoming your strength. Don't just survive the wait. Worship in the wait. Let the storm drive you closer to the one who controls the wind. Chapter 4. The Growth in the Dark. We've talked about preparation and protection, but let's talk about the beauty of growth. There are things you can only learn in the valley. You learn compassion for others who are hurting. You learn that God's grace is sufficient even when your strength is gone. You learn that your identity is in Him, not in your achievements. This season of waiting is stripping away the superficial things and leaving you with what truly lasts. It's a refining fire. It's the gold being separated from the dross. You are becoming more like Christ every day you choose to trust Him when it's hard. This is the biblical truth that so many forget. The fruit of the Spirit, patience, kindness, faithfulness, is grown in the seasons where we have to wait. You are more beautiful now than you were when you started this journey. God is doing a new thing in you. Finally, we come to the purpose of the promise. God's timing is never late because His purpose is always on time. He is weaving a tapestry that is larger than you can imagine. Every thread of delay, every knot of frustration is part of a masterpiece. When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Not when your time is right, but when the purpose is fulfilled. So, keep your head up. Keep your heart open. Your story isn't over. It's just in a deep chapter. The breakthrough is coming, and it will be more glorious than you ever expected because it was worth the wait. Trust the process, trust the Father, and trust that His love for you is the constant in every season. Even in difficult seasons, faith reminds us that hope is never lost. Understanding God's timing is the first step to resting in His peace.